conversations. You ready? Let's go. The currency of connection. Let's connect, baby.
Hey!
What in the?
Give the people a show.
I didn't try. I wasn't trying. I was trying to get to my seat. Welcome to Rich Conversations.
Welcome.
Back with a bang.
For sure.
For sure. For sure.
I'm
For
thinking
sure.
about
Yeah.
it remind me of the Dear Future Wife episode where the wig fell off.
Oh, with the wing fell off. Well, I didn't have my butt out there.
No,
I'm gonna have to go back and edit that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and edit that one. That ain't gonna work. Welcome to Rich Conversations.
Welcome.
Yeah, we're back. We are on every other week until something else pops off to where we come on a little more frequently.
Right.
But tonight we are having Meet the Riches Part 2. The last time I was on here, it was myself and my youngest, DJ, Damon Jr., and he and I chopped it up. We had some good conversation. And the wife, Tamika, and our daughter, Deshay, they were taking care of some family business with our grandpup. And we had a lot going on with the grandpup, and unfortunately our grandpup wasn't on that day but didn't make it. And that has been a different shift for the Rich household. For that, I feel like I need my mouse. I feel like some needs adjusting. I don't know.
You're fine.
But our grandpup,
Yeah.
Tigger, is resting in peace, and we miss her dearly for sure. She was an integral part. She was our most traveled dog. So we'll talk about a little bit of that tonight as much as we can. But we have our kids in the building with us. We're gonna bring them on screen with us. Hello,
Say hello to
Deshay.
people.
Hello, DJ. How y'all doing?
Good.
Good. You sure?
Yeah.
We good over there?
Mm-hmm.
Thumbs up. You was Mr. Talkative last. He's still waking up, so y'all have to. You have to get him a nap in after school. So, we're glad to have you guys in with us. We're not gonna pull y'all into every episode, but y'all gonna get some episodes of Rich Conversations, because this is so much more than just us talking about marriages and relationships. We're gonna be talking about a whole lot of stuff throughout this year. We have you getting ready, DJ, which we already talked about a little bit last episode. Get ready to go to college. Shay getting ready to make some career moves to continue to move towards some of her dreams. And it's kind of funny. It's not that this career move is so much. I don't know. I'll ask you. It's not that this career move is necessarily on the map for where you're going, but it's potentially a step to help you get into that direction. How we classify this latest career move?
I don't know. I classify it as doing everything I want to do.
Doing everything you want to do. Okay, that's cool. She likes to travel. She likes to travel. She's the brokest traveler I know, but she likes to travel.
That's what credit cards are for.
No.
Oh.
That's definitely going to be an episode.
Exactly.
That is not what credit cards are for. And we're going to talk a little bit about budgeting a little bit
That'll
tonight.
definitely be one of our rich conversations for sure.
Yeah, we'll dig deeper, but I want to bring up something about that. Just kind of thinking through some stuff. But welcome to the show. Glad to have you here. Shay, DJ told him a little bit about himself last week. Why don't you tell the people a little bit about you?
Like what?
Whatever.
Anything specific?
Introduce yourself to the people. They're gonna get used to seeing you.
Okay. I don't know where to start. I mean, I just graduated. I just graduated from FSU about a year and a half. Graduated with my bachelor's degree in African American Studies.
Okay.
Went out into the real world trying to figure out what to do next.
Yeah.
I like to do a lot of artistic things, draw, dance, sing. It's anything artistic. I've probably done it or I'm doing it. I really like to read, spend my time reading. That's about it.
That's about it. That's about it. So, yeah. Like, so
Did
you
you say travel?
I mean, you already said that.
Hey, I know they look like they are the typical brother and sister. They sit so far apart, but they are tight as two peas in the pod. Love each other. Yeah. Uh-oh. Hey, so
Even though there's a little age gap.
little age gap.
6 years.
6 years. Not too big. Not too big. Big enough. Big enough. That's on you. So,
I own that one.
yeah. So here's something that just kind of thinking through. I asked DJ this. What does it mean to be rich? Not talking about finances, being a part of the rich clan. What does it mean to be rich to you?
I guess being kind,
Okay.
having empathy, hardworking, wise-ish,
Why?
Wow.
or a good listener.
I like that.
Okay. Okay. Need to be rich. Cool. Honey, you wasn't on last week. What does it mean for you to be? I mean, obviously you're married into this greatness.
I did.
They was born into this greatness.
Oh, this is so wonderful. God is so good.
It's so good. So what does it mean to be rich?
What does it mean to be rich? I think we kind of cultivated that together. Starting from the beginning. Through the years. It wasn't perfect in the beginning because we definitely had to figure some things out. But knowing that we wanted to be givers, like she said, compassionate, showing empathy. Of course, we are scripturally rooted, faith-based family. So we just try to live by the word as much as we can. We all definitely have things to work on still, but being intentional about showing some of those things that she say, I think DJ said last week when I got a chance to go back and look at it, about just being generous in ways that we can to help others. So just a heart to help people, to help others, and love others. I think our personalities are all just a little bit different, and how that comes across sometimes is different. They probably say I'm a little more the warm and fuzzy
For sure.
one. And for them it takes a minute to warm up. Not that they don't accept people right away, but it takes them just a little bit longer.
DJ is low key the mayor of Prophetville.
Yeah, he's a little more
I don't know.
like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Shay's a little more like you, and we'll say DJ's a little bit more like you.
Who signed up for that? Who co-signed for that? Yep.
See, they agreed. I think
Yeah.
They
Oh,
agree.
yeah.
did.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can
Oh, you
co-sign on
said
that.
okay. Are you which one of your parents you think you more like?
Probably my mother.
Why? Why do you say that?
I'm at least uh, bed willing more to talk.
Uh, huh.
Um,
We don't
you
talk.
think I'm a talker?
Think?
Think.
Have a question?
I don't know how many people would agree with that.
Think you a talker. Yeah.
But I know what you're trying to say.
Mm.
Uh-huh. No, you talkative. You more talkative. You don't meet strangers.
No.
Me and everybody is strangers to me and Shay.
Hmm.
And DJ somewhere there in the middle.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, thank you.
Did I finish?
Oh no, I don't know.
No,
Was you?
I think so, pretty much. Hopefully that gave a little bit
Okay.
of what it means, or I think it means.
Yeah, and we're still shaking some stuff, so I am. I think tonight I need to tidy it up. Don't clear that chest out. Yeah.
Yeah, he did mention that we were all sick, so we were grieving our grandpa for our family, doggy, Lady Tigger, and we all got colds or flu or whatever it was, the bug. We were sick,
Everybody but Shay,
except for Shay. You're right.
cause she on the other end of the house.
Yes,
Mm.
and it's
Mm-hmm.
usually like that. We'll all get something on our end, and she is.
Yeah. Yeah,
Suck my thumb.
and it started with Miss Friendly. Yes, she brought it to the house.
I did this time.
Brought it to the house. So let's shift gears a little bit. So we had our family retreat, and DJ and I talked about it a little bit in the last, in the first episode, part 1. But during our family retreat, we definitely had a lot of good conversation. And Shay, you brought something up that makes, and you recently just talked about it again, but I want you to talk about a little bit of is it academic validation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So while we were at our retreat, just kind of setting the scene a little bit, we were talking and like kind of, like all parents, we push our kids to be their best at their academics. Some slack, even though they're capable of these higher grades, whatever. But while we were talking and discussing some stuff, I don't even know how it came up in a retreat, but you brought up this principle of academic validation. And I was like, well, break that down, explain it to us, and help us understand, and then like the impact of it. So take the floor. What is academic validation?
So it's basically when you tie your grades or how you do academically into school to your self-worth.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. And it was just, and the I guess I was kind of talking about like the difficulty is of what does that mean once you're no longer in school.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because you were talking about how that impacts like in different areas of life. Dig into that.
Right. So depending on what type of job you go into, there is no grade per se. There's no grade, no final grade. So if you've had your self-worth tied to your academics, your grades, it doesn't really matter. Sometimes I know I've heard a lot recently that it's more important, even if you go to like, for a lot of places, even if you go to like the best colleges and you do amazing, once you get out in the real world, they don't really care about that. Right? It becomes more about other stuff like networking and other things. But if you worried so much about I need perfect A's or I need A's, I need the perfect grades, you may have fell off in like socializing, networking and all of that. But then you've gotten into the real world and nobody cares about that. So your self-worth is tied to grades you no longer get. And then you start seeking self-worth a different way or you self-destruct.
Right. No, and I found it really, really fascinating because, a lot of the conversations at work I do, in some of my consulting is helping people like how do you connect with this generation or this new generation of employees or whatever. And when you said that, it resonated deeply with me because I'm like, that's part of the thing is because these kids they don't know what it's like to go to a job and then don't feel like there's any reward, so to say. But not only that there's no reward, but that there's no constant validation of it's like, oh great, you did your job,
Right.
outstanding, you're gonna get a paycheck. Right? It's like nobody, and then they look forward to their performance evaluations and then they get 3s and 4s. It's like, but I thought I was perfect and why did I get 5s? Like there are very few people who get straight A's in the workforce.
Right.
Like, or it doesn't show up the same.
Mm.
And so that's funny. It was funny, but it's interesting because then they really, even like dealing with a lot of employers, it's not even all about the money. It really ends up boiling down to like they want to feel like there's some self-worth tied to the job that they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so trying to recruit them is the same things don't appeal like that appeal to our generation.
Right. And do you think my thing is how did we get here? And then two, and I think we were talking about this a little bit, even the grading system has changed some.
Mm.
So it was like the 3.0 wasn't enough. And then it was the 3.5 and now it's like the 4.0 and then that's not enough. And so they're even moving it a little further. So they're like seeking to get these really good high GPAs and grades and all of the thing, and that's what they're going after.
That's how the school gets paid.
But then they lack in social skills. So there's so many things that's missing. There's not a good balance. I think when we were coming up and not putting so much on the grade, and I don't think we have ever pressured. Maybe we don't know how you feel about it, but we don't. Our intention was never to pressure you like that, so you felt like you had to chase the grade or the GPA, or your self-worth or value was tied into that. You know.
I don't know, because one day you told us something. What did you say to us? Like, y'all set me up or something. You was like, and you didn't call it academic validation at that point, but it's like somehow the way we raised you is like you almost felt set up. You remember that?
Yeah, I think I vaguely remember. I think it's when I started my job. And on a job you're learning, so you're not perfect. But because you've been so used to academic validation, there is no means for mess ups. I need to be perfect because, and that was I was thinking when you were talking about schools, when you go to school, it seems the only time anybody cares is when you're getting good grades, right? Yeah. So then if you go to a job, you're like, okay, well, the only way I know somebody cares or they're seeing you for your job is if I'm doing the best, right?
Right.
And you're doing the best, they're giving you some type of validation that way.
Yeah.
And I just remember
trying to overachieve or something like that.
Yeah, and I just remember being like, I think I was just like frustrated one day because I'm learning something, but I was like, no, I need to be like good.
Yeah. And I will say that like there is a part of maybe what comes with the rich blood is there's this drive to perfect things, to like, at least for me, like to dominate whatever I'm gonna put my all into it. I want to dominate it. I want to, and I've backed away from it being perfect, but I want to doggone show be like at the top of my game, right? So when I step, even with like professional speaking, one of the things that's been for me is like, I want to dominate my lane. Whatever I'm doing, I want to dominate my lane. I want to get the best. And then sometimes people will look at you and you're like, what are you talking about? You did great. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all probably have encountered that. Like, you did. He's like, no, I could have did better. Like, I'm my own worst critic. Nah, I could have did better.
Right. I think we have to, or we sometimes don't know how to leave room for growth.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so there's a thin line in coming up because we were raised to do things in excellence.
Yeah.
And so for us, I think we took that, and I want to say it was just a trickle down effect, period, because we never really have these conversations or talk about them with our parents or even with you sometimes. How do you perceive it or your perception of us wanting you to do good and be excellent as perfect? And so, and so coming up for me, I think, or I thought I took them wanting me to do things in excellence as being perfect and being a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And so that's something I definitely have or need or have been learning to uncondition myself and grow out of.
Because excellence doesn't always have to mean perfect.
Right. Right.
Excellence is, did I deliver my best?
Mm-hmm.
Am I at peace with what I delivered? I didn't 11:59 it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I did 11:50. I'm throwing shade at my kids. They probably got some of that from me. But I did 11:59 it, or even if I did 11:59 it, I still know I gave my best effort. Like, me doing it sooner wasn't gonna get any better outcome than what I gave. Now, that isn't always true, but that's the case. And then when people pass that, then it's like, see, 11:59 work until it don't.
Right.
11:59 work until it don't. So what else on y'all mind? I mean, we have a lot that we want to accomplish in this year. Everyone, some of us have started working on it. Some of us have not. I know we like have some fun stuff we want to do. I was looking up hockey games the other day to see if it'll work out with our schedule. It's not. So, because we're going to be in Orlando and the games are in Tampa. So, but what are you most excited about for the year? What are you most excited about for the year coming up? I don't know what you want, something you want to do, something you want to, let me back it up. What are you most excited about? What goal that you've set for 2025 are you most excited about?
Okay, glad you clarified.
Yes.
Because I was going to say going to see Beyonce, but.
Boo. Tomato.
Goal-wise? It's a mix. Not a mix. A tie between opening a mobile bookstore this year, and getting back into some of my hobbies.
Cool. Deej?
For me is getting into university.
Okay.
Just getting past the jumping point from high school to university.
Okay. All right. Chill.
Yeah, getting in college. Oh, me too. This is a question not for just them.
No, this is a question all the way around.
That goal for accomplishment. Me, I'm kind of in my simple stage. So just personal growth more, and being able to bring people along with me on the journey.
Okay.
So in the life coaching, and in faith chapters of her faith, just being intentional about and more aware of everything that's really going on, and intentional about life.
Gotcha.
And lifestyle and growing, and not trying to do too much.
Gotcha.
And you?
I don't know. It was taking an international trip, but without any planes. Shoot, I don't even want to fly from North Florida to South Florida. Yeah, so I think expanding my professional speaking goals associated with that is probably the most. Um, in taking the journey that it's going to take to really get there, developing a level of consistency that will allow me to be in a position to pour into the lives of people. When I first started the professional speaking journey, it was what everyone gets excited about, which is hitting the stage. But the more I hit the stage, the more I understand the importance of impacting lives. So whether the room has one person in it or it has 65,000 people in it, my focus has to be, am I saying something meaningful to impact people's lives? Am I saying something that makes people say, hey, I can make it, hey, I can shift, hey, I can grow? And to me, that's what's super important at this point.
True.
So I'm out the door.
Mm-mm.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't see you no how.
Oh, okay, cool. So we're gonna get ready to wrap up. We ain't gonna belong the time. 'Cause that's what
Don't take my word.
yeah, we ain't gonna. It ain't.
You
It's,
know, I
it's,
will make up a
it's
word.
prolonged, but
Prolonged.
maybe say belong
Belong.
all the time. I'm
Right.
like, what in the world is they talking about?
Belong the time. Don't act like you don't know, Daniel.
Anyway, okay. So we're gonna get ready to bring this episode to a conclusion, right? Let me check my notes. Let me
Oh, I
make
was
sure.
about to say, this is the fastest he's ever wrapped up.
No. We you know, with Rich Conversations, we're finding our
Niche.
we're finding our rhythm.
Rhythm. That's
Find our rhythm.
Yeah, I'm excited to be back on the air because it's been a little while since we are trying to get our rhythm and going and just how we're gonna flow. And so it's already February, and the next week will be the end already. So it already seems like this year is going by so fast.
Yeah.
So and life is going to life and keep happening while we're doing all the things and figuring it out. But just excited about the different conversations that we'll be having on the show and bringing to the show, and not just us, but other people, guests, and the Rich family as a whole, our young people, because I think it's important to have a lot of conversations that we have offline and off air that they're so good, and if we could even bring them on at the moment that we're into them, which are really good, because by the time we get here and try to recapture or go back to be like, oh, what were we talking about? I remember when you said this and stuff like that is a little hard sometimes. But really being in that moment of those conversations and hearing the hearts of you guys and what's going on in your lives and in the world, and being authentic and realistic about it, even if we don't agree on everything,
Right.
but just voicing our opinions and really talking so people can see that and know and relate to it. I
Yeah.
think definitely being relatable to a lot of the conversations that go on or could go on, or that people will want to have, hopefully sparking a conversation that you may want to have with others or with your family or with your children, that I think a lot of times people don't necessarily do for whatever reason,
Right.
and just reconditioning your whole mind and your thought and unlearning and relearning a lot of things. Because for us, it's a little different to even sit here and do this, because this is not something we were able to do or kind of brought up to do.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
to sit and have these conversations.
Right. I was looking through our notes from our retreat, and I wrote down some quotes from y'all. I'll tell y'all. So my all-time favorite quote that I've been telling people a lot here lately is, I don't know where my daughter got it from or if it's her original, but it is, some lessons are brought, some lessons are taught. Right?
Hello.
Some lessons are brought and
Yes, ma'am.
some
Hello.
lessons are taught. And so, and he's still on mic, so let me mute him. But some lessons are brought, some lessons are taught. And then I add on there, and if you're going to buy the lesson, you better make sure your bank account got a good balance, right? So, but while we were at the retreat, you said, and I don't even know what we were talking about, but I think it's like one of the lessons you've learned, which is you can just do stuff. Sometimes the boundaries are just imagined. Yeah. And I like these are the moments and the things that kind of as a father, I cherish getting to watch y'all grow and have a level of, and watch your wisdom mature. In the fact that you said that, like, you can just do stuff, like there are boundaries. And I do think that we tend to have, whether you want to call it the canary in the cage, the elephant with the rope, the fleas in the jar, like there's all these different experiments where they've shown like sometimes a boundary can be put there and then the boundary's gone, but mentally you're still locked in there. So that really that stuck with me. Then you dropped a quote, honey, do the small things, they become bigger. Listen more and take chances. So that was something that you said. DJ said, creating things is hard. Sometimes you have to put it down and come back to it. And that's true. And I think sometimes we don't push through the hard parts of things, or we think that pushing through is going to get us the result, when in reality what's going to really get us the result is to walk away from it for a minute. Let me put it down before I break it, and come back over here and do my thing.
And that's so good on so many different for so many different things. You know, even when I think about when we talk about relationships and marriage, and that's one of the things. And I think a lot of times we think we have to have that conversation at the moment, or push past even some boundaries at the time, instead of just saying, let me put it down or back away and give it a minute, you know, and then coming back to it. And then what makes us or have the mindset to feel like we have to get it all done right then, or do it or push through it or keep going when it's really hard.
I muted your mic.
And why he had to leave. So that's a whole nother thing, because we really have some good conversations coming up for this. Rich conversations.
Nah, it's a lot. It's a lot that when we deal with. So like our next episode, and where we're gonna really jump off into, because we've talked about it, is we're gonna talk about faith. Just the importance of faith. What is it? What is it really? Why is it such an intricate part of our life? How we've grown in our faith, matured in our faith over years. I'm gonna say this, man. So February the 5th, that was our first Bible study in person. And we had a lot going on. We had, Tigger was sick. We were trying to figure that out. Dealing with that. And we had, it was supposed to be our first episode. It was supposed to be our first in-person Bible study. And I was feeling the weight. Just as a dad, okay, maybe I should cancel things. What's going on with Tig? I just had, it's like overwhelming to a point. And on that day, I received probably one of the greatest gifts in the moment. And this is what is so important of how we frame stuff in our minds, even in our critical moments. So y'all went DJ came and no one showed up for Bible study other than it's just me and DJ. And as a dad, I just got to sit there and chop up scripture with my son. I would have loved it if it's just like it was tonight, if it's just us chopping up scripture together as a family. But it just meant so much in that moment, and it is a certain level of encouragement. I just say it's like this great gift to me that we had a situation that even in the midst of everything that's going on, that he came, we talked, we went through the scripture, he provided his insights, what he was thinking about it, and we just had a good spiritual discussion. And it still can be overwhelming doing a lot of the things that we have on our plate, but now I'm shifting and I'm like getting to a place. I don't think I'm probably not doing it the right way, but I'm getting to the place of like, it's so much stuff I gotta offload off my plate because it's running me down, and I can't get. You put a lot of it on there. Over there dancing and shaking the tent. Yeah. I'm finna use to clear my plate.
All right.
I'm gonna clear it right on off. Yeah. Now I'm gonna put bricks around it too. You can't put nothing else on it. But it's just so important, right? It's just so important. And I want us to just. I just like that was a great gift to me from God Himself, like to just sit down because I went to watch my parents go to church. We went to church. Now my stepfather, one thing that he instituted for us is me, my brother, Ma, and him. We get at that front door before we traveled to school and we prayed. Now that's something he instituted probably our last year or so in high school, but he instituted it. And sometimes you just forget those small things. So, yeah. All right. We finna get ready to get out of here. Y'all got anything you want to add before we get out of here? Matter of fact, do you have anything to add? We're going to let everybody give a parting rich nugget or something that's on your mind, whatever it is. And we're going to get out of here. And I'll start.
Okay.
I want to leave you with this tonight for people. Start a tradition that matters to your family. Do new things with your family. Get weird with your family.
Right.
It might look different to everybody else, but it's just spending that time with your family. I can't wait to go to another Broadway show and potentially take our child to a crazy show. Another one of our children knew was a crazy show. So I can't wait to just walk into a Broadway show based off of a name that sounds like it'll be funny, but hella, ooh, y'all know what? I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna pass to you, honey. So we had a parade, and we had some people working and helping us out. Did you think the same thing?
I thought the same thing. I asked Mom. I was like, "Are they?"
I gotta ask you this. I don't know if this is my daughter. What song was you singing in your head?
From Hello. I was like,
That's my daughter. That's my daughter.
We just talked about this.
I was singing the song in my head. Okay, honey.
So I'm gonna piggyback off of what you said. Make new family traditions. Make sure you take the time intentionally to talk to each other, have conversations, ask each other questions, and not just have conversations, have the tough conversations. Because a lot of times we shy away from those things, those tough conversations. There's conversations, that young people don't necessarily want to have or talk about, but we have them anyway. And it may seem like they're not really listening, but they are. And usually that it just comes with time. So make sure you love on each other as much as you can. Don't take any time or any of the days for granted. Yeah, and make new traditions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sit down and come up with some things that you want to do as a family or start doing. And like Deshae says, know that you can do them. Don't put boundaries on them,
Absolutely.
on what you can do.
All right. Shay,
What are we doing?
just a nugget, a parting thought, something before we get up out of here.
A nugget or a parting thought?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll say this first and I'll give my nugget. I saw something very interesting today, or a video on TikTok. And the girl said, if you leave all the food in your fridge, bad food, rotting food, if you leave all the food in your fridge, you'll convince yourself your fridge is always full. Right? You'll think you have what you need because you don't ever throw anything out. You don't ever address it. I've seen a couple other videos of that, and I know we've been talking about Tigger passing. And so I just seen a couple of different videos, and that one today, with people talking about if you don't address the thing, you're not fixing the problem.
Right.
Or just not getting over, but going through grief. If you don't ever address it,
Right.
it's always there, right? You're going to open the fridge, you're going to have bad food, you're going to shut it and be like, my fridge is full.
Yeah.
Even if everything in there is rotting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'd say address the fridge and your food. Throw some of it out.
The fridge in your food.
The food in your fridge. The food in your fridge. Food in your fridge.
No, I like that. I have a question for the both of you because we consume a lot of social media, but y'all consume social media differently. Because I find this with a lot of doggone freaking adults is I feel like there are people who consume social media and they are social media news reporters, meaning they see something and because they saw it on social media, it must be so. Then there are people who, which I think this is the way social media is supposed to be used, you see something and then it triggers you to go dig deeper. Which are y'all?
Depends on how important it is. If it's like life or death, usually because a lot of the people I follow or interact with on social media are, I'd say, highly intelligent or well thought out people who are pushing you. Most of the time they're always saying, hey, I may be giving you this information, but here's my source. Go look for your own source. Go double check it. Like, don't ever believe something. Which, funny story, I was watching a TikTok and this was the whole point. This dude does this whole video about how lions have the best PR team. And he talks about how like tigers are actually the best cat. And he gives you all these facts about lions. You know, they're not really strong. They're this, and that. The lion, you know, the old movie.
MGM?
Yeah, and the lion roaring. It's not actually a lion. It's a tiger roaring. And then he makes another video. And really his whole point is, his whole point was people always say, oh, I can never be propagandized. I'm never that easy. And he's like, if you just watch that video and believed everything I told you about lions, you can be. Because not once did anybody, and I fell for it. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Because I was like, that's crazy. I didn't know all of this. And I never went to go look. Because the MGM lion isn't a lion's roar. It is. It's not a tiger's. But yeah, just that made me think about it when you're saying people just take it and go with it.
Right. Yeah. Deej.
For me, I'm not a person who really takes it at face value. I have to see the same basic information repeated over and over and over and over again and I like Shay, I typically follow a lot of reputable sources that like push you to do your own research. So it like people can add onto it, but you can always get like a sense of what is actually concretely said by just the basics of what people say.
So you fact check it a lot.
That's the thing that's important. And the reason I asked that, and I love y'all's answers, is because here's the key: all deception has some level of truth. That's what makes it potent. So if you can find the truth and work out from there, you can uncover the lie. But if you never go and do the work of finding the truth, it's going to be very challenging to find the lie. And that is true in life in general.
Yeah.
Somebody can say something, and it's like, hold on, let me find the truth in it. And if there's no truth in it, then it's an outright lie. But if I can find the truth in it, now, if it is not deception, if it is not propaganda, then it shouldn't fall apart the further I expand that truth.
Because you've heard before, two things can be true.
Yeah, more than, yeah, it can, and something can be a fact, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a truth. And so, for example, somebody will say, and this is, I'm going to go race related, somebody can say, that black girl just stole out of the Dollar Tree, right? And they arrest her, and sure enough, she has stuff on her she stole, right? Oh, there's another black girl stole out of Target. They arrest her, sure enough. Look, I'm telling you, all black girls steal. There is a fact and there's a truth that they have caught two black girls stealing. That is not necessarily that all black girls steal. Not how it works, right? And that's like a simple example, but that's how things happen, which is where not getting, well, I'm going to get a little political here, and not to political on that level. Here's the importance of history to me, and I want to use this as an example, just to kind of do that, and Deej will get your nugget or important thought. I always am intrigued when I see commercials like for AIDS, HIV medication. What intrigues me about it is the people that are primarily in the commercial are people of color and people of alternate lifestyles. Why that is intriguing to me is if you know the history of AIDS, it was first known as either a disease of black people or a disease of a gay man's disease. So why then would I go show up in commercials that further that narrative, right? So I think about a lot of stuff in that way. Why participate in things that further narratives about you, your people, your life, whatever it is? Why continue to like further that? You cannot see any readily discernible straight people in AIDS commercials. They're either people who are in the LGBTQ community or people who are African American that are also a part of that community, but and that's intentional. That's intentional. So it gives a level that you can see deception at work. You can see narrative at work. So that's just one of those pet peeves of mine.
Be brave enough sometimes to change the narrative.
Yes. Be brave enough to change the narrative. Deej, take us out of here with a nugget or a thought.
A nugget or a thought? I guess my thing would be, things take time. Don't waste your time. Like, what I mean, okay, I gotta explain it a little bit.
Bring it out. I think I know where you're going, but bring it out.
If you want to do the things that you want to do, they take time. Don't waste your time doing nothing.
I know what you're saying. Yes, I saw a tweet about this earlier where it was like, if you're, like 20 something and you want to go back to school, but you're like, oh, it's going to take me 4 years and by the time I graduate, I'm 30. Okay, well, if you don't get the degree or you don't go for 4 years, you're still going to be 30. Now you don't have a degree, right? So like, it's going to take time either way.
Yeah.
So just make sure. It sounds like what you're doing is worth it.
Yeah,
You're not
yeah.
wasting time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we talk about that as a family quite a bit because that's that one thing that is time is valuable.
It's valuable. You can't get it back.
You don't get it back.
You don't get it back. So, all right. Listen, we finna get ready to get out of here. We don't have any catchy cola things or any of that yet. We still getting the rich conversations together. But we thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We thank you for tuning in with us. And not next week, week after that, we'll be back. And we'll do a little bit more to let you know when we're coming on and what we're going to be talking about. But until then, God bless. We love you guys.
We love you for real.
For Play. We love you for
We
Play.
love you for real. That is our thing. We say that. Good night. We
Good
love
night.
you for real.